Yellowjackets, episode 10, the season finale, Sic Transit Gloria Mundi, which is Latin for Thus Passes the Glory of the World. I had to use some Google Translate on multiple things in this episode, that being one of them, second to last line by Lottie. Is the other one, which was in French. We'll get to that. This episode was directed by Eduardo Sanchez of Blair Witch fame, which was cool to see, especially since he became popular in the late 90s, where this takes place. All right, so we start with them calling in the wolf.
Calling in the wolf.
Yeah, man. That's what I kept thinking of when Misty showed up. It was Pulp Fiction. Freaking, oh, you sent in the wolf? That's all you had to say. Misty came in and just handled shit. She's like, you guys do this, you do this,
Yeah, she's so put together. It's because she's really into true crime, and I think that's just how her brain works. I mean, the whole season of getting to know this character, she's very... calculated and micromanaging. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, if someone finds your torso, they can still identify your body through DNA.
Yeah.
So
I don't know what she was meaning.
Unless they
about.
burned the
torso
first. I don't know. She was like, "Oh, it doesn't matter. You have the torso." It's like they know you're dead.
Yeah.
If they just find your torso.
Exactly.
Like you can't live without your torso. There's like a lot of your body you can live without, but this is not one of them.
He's probably fine.
So that's a for sure death and murder. Like animals don't cut up your body. Right. Right? It's a human. Yes. Someone cut up your body and buried it in a park. So yes. That was an odd one from her. Another one was from Shauna being like, "Why are you calling this a murder?"
Oh my gosh.
Because it's a fucking murder.
It's so clearly a murder. Like, just because she didn't it's not
premeditation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's still
that just means
ultimately wake up and kill her lover.
Murder in the third degree. Right?
Yeah.
Or the second. Not first.
Accidental murder is manslaughter, but I mean, it's manslaughter if you're like, oh shit, I killed this person, let me go to the police. But
what's funny
don't do that.
Is she says, like, why are you calling it a murder? And then goes on to explain, like, what happened, which was a murder.
Yes.
Yes. So I know she's trying to, like, absolve herself.
Sure.
But she murdered.
She murdered
Adam.
the wrong person, too.
Yeah.
So.
Anyway.
Yeah, they're all very kind of cavalier about this disposing
Enough.
of the body.
Hey, all right. Jeez.
Like, they don't really care that they have to cut up a person and, get rid of the evidence that, like Misty says.
She finally cries in the shower.
Sure, her and Ty both have, like, little mini breakdowns, but...
I still think Shauna's awful.
Yeah, she is. I agree. I didn't like her any more this episode. But, I mean, I think she's an interesting character because she's so complicated and, unlikable.
Yeah, it's not like I watch a show and I'm like, oh god, Shauna again, let's turn the show off. No, nothing like that. It's just, I don't like Shauna.
Yeah.
And the funny thing is we were talking about during the episode, Misty's just so much more likably awful.
Yeah, she's definitely, it's because she's so quirky.
Yes.
That you're just like, oh, she's cute, Mm-hmm. But she is also a horrible person, but Shauna is... I don't know, because, like, she's funny, though. She has these really, like, sarcastic moments throughout the season that I liked a lot, and I was definitely chuckling at some things that she said.
Yeah.
But with Misty, it's like she's so crazy and just kind of kooky that it's endearing. It's more endearing.
Yes.
So.
So, I think at this point, we just have to, like, call a spade here. Like, this is... supernatural. Like, I'm 100% on board supernatural at this point.
I think there's a lot of things in this episode that point very strongly towards supernatural.
A bear does not come up and offer itself to you.
That's the main
like,
one.
Kill me, ma'am.
For sure, that's the main one. But We also don't know, I mean, at the end of this episode, there's a pretty big revelation that there is a cult operating. There's some organization of people run by Lottie at this point who, whether they existed at the time that all of this is happening, I don't know. But where I was going with that was that maybe there's, some kind of drug use involved with the animals that are making them act that way. Like maybe the bear is kind of, but likely not. It's very, I mean, that's just, one possibility. But I do think that it is supernatural. But then the scene that we get later on of Jackie's death is, supernatural, but we only see it from her point of view. And, when people are dying, they have near-death experiences. So it's kind of like, if you believe in something after death, then it's a supernatural experience. But if you don't, then it's like, you can explain it with, just brain death, right?
So the question here is, because of how it's shot, we're jumping way ahead here. But since you brought it up, is this Jackie's vision? Or is this Shauna's vision? Because she's the one that springs up like it was her dream.
I think it's a shared vision. I think that Shauna wakes up from some type of dream, whether it's that exact same one.
If it's a shared dream, then it's supernatural.
But, well, not necessarily. People have shared dreams. Yeah.
What do you mean?
Like, people have dreams where they have the same dream as somebody else.
At the same time?
At the same time.
At the same night?
Yeah.
And they come and they're like, I dreamt this and I dreamt this and exactly everything. That's bullshit.
I don't know about exactly everything, but like, because, how much of your dream do you remember?
We both dreamt of Ryan Gosling last night.
Or even if it's not exactly the same dream, there's definitely times where people have a dream about each other the same night, and then the next day you're like, oh my god, I had a dream about you, and it's like, no way, I also had a dream about you.
I definitely believe in mental connection, but I don't believe people are having a shared dream.
Well, I think that's just, maybe you're stuck on the phrase, it's semantic at that point.
What I'm saying is that the dream that we see was one or the other's.
Yes,
right?
I think...
I don't think that they had if it is supernatural, then yes, they had the exact same vision. Maybe they all dreamt that, since they're all there.
Maybe.
But I feel like I don't know. I'm really torn on that one, if it was Jackie's dream or if it was Shauna's dream. Because by that point, Jackie's dead when she wakes up. But that might just be time jump into where Shauna wakes up and is like, well, but the way she wakes up, it's like she's coming out of a dream that startles her awake. But it's Jackie that we see laying down on the fire, and then kind of, she dreams that Shauna comes out to get her. They come in the house, everyone's being nice, and she sees Laura Lee's there, and she sees, I'm assuming, the pilot who died there. And so it's just like, whose dream? I'm all over the place with that one.
Yeah, I think it could be either, but I felt more that it was Jackie's just because of the way that it was shot. It kind of is focused more on her reactions to things. Because everybody's all, glowy and nice to her, and she's sort of...
Well, we see it through her vision.
Exactly. Right, so I think it's mostly her dream, and, if it's supernatural, I do think that Shauna probably has the same dream and wakes up from that. And then obviously finds Jackie outside, frozen. Frozen
to death. Jackie is dead.
Yes.
She is not the girl in the pit.
She's not Pit Girl.
We officially can say that ain't Jackie in the pit. I had enough people saying it was her in the comments, and trust me, we were wrong on other things for sure. Yeah. One of them happening in this episode, something we were dead wrong on,
was the reunion.
Really nothing happens there at all.
No,
which is really wild.
It's, I'm glad that there was some time spent there, like, just to see how everybody else is perceiving, the survivors. Yeah. But we definitely thought that it was going to be, like, the main focus of this episode. And it really wasn't. It was just kind of just a part of it, but
we
nothing
thought
major.
Lottie or Van or somebody was going to show
Jackie
up.
even.
Jackie.
I thought Jackie was going to pop up when they had her picture on the screen for so long, too. I was like, she's just going to walk in and be like, hi, what up?
It is supernatural. I mean, she could.
Maybe. She's still alive somewhere.
They brought her back from the dead with a ritual. Mm-hmm. I definitely think we're dealing with witchcraft.
Yes.
And I think that originally I thought, oh, maybe Taissa killed Travis in order to win the election. But then we see that her wife finds an altar with the dog's head, the dog's heart, a doll that looks like Sammy, her son, on a table. And I think that was in an attempt to win the election.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
And now I think that Lottie's cult crew killed Travis. For what reason? If we're gonna say that Taissa killed the dog, cut its heart out like Lottie cuts the bear's heart out and places it in this ritualistic fashion in the tree stump at the end of this, and Ty does the same thing. Now Ty isn't there. It's Van and Misty that are with her for that, so she doesn't witness that particular ritual. So she would have had to have learned that somewhere else at some point. Obviously, something we'll see later on as this goes on. But she performed this for that. That would be what the obvious guess would be. But why would Lottie perform the Travis ritual in order to get what?
Maybe more food? Oh, the Travis ritual? The
Travis ritual.
You mean in present day?
Yes.
I don't know.
Yeah.
That's kind of a big mystery, but I mean...
If we're even right on any of that.
Well, I agree with you. I think that Taissa did some kind of ritual. My question and, thought, though, is that I don't know if she's doing it consciously, because it sort of seems like she's sleepwalking when she's doing it. I mean, when she wakes up in the tree, she's got the blood and the bite and everything. And I feel like she just did that ritual because the dog goes missing the next day. So I don't know that she's fully aware that she's doing it.
Yeah.
But as far as the Travis ritual, I don't know what the larger scale plan is with that.
I think it would be a little too coincidental if they bring in the director of one of the most famous witch movies of all time. And they're not doing witchcraft in the episode. No, yeah. It's almost like they called on him to be like, all right, this is where we're going to go into the witchcraft stuff. He's like, you made a witchcraft movie. Yeah. With all the little freaking, package that they get of Jeff's remains and all that stuff. His tongue and his teeth and all that shit. So yeah, I definitely think we're dealing with witchcraft here. I agree. And yeah, how conscious is Taissa with her actions? Does she know she killed the dog? The bite on her hand, I guess, is the dog's. But it looks human.
It does.
It's the dog, I guess.
It's either the dog or maybe Sammy woke up when she was trying to take it and bit her. I would also want to go back and look at it.
Adult bite.
That's my memory of it, is that it looked more human, but I would like to rewatch it just to make sure that it was actually a human bite, not a dog bite. So
yeah, I don't know. It for sure looked like a human bite from my memory of it, but I mean, it was there for a second on the screen. Who the fuck knows? And how different does a dog bite look from a human bite on someone's hand? I don't know. If it's just at the edge, right? If it's the whole thing, obviously a person's mouth isn't that elongated like a snout. Yeah. But if it's just the end, the dog's teeth, it looked human.
Yeah, but dogs have canines that are sharper.
So we'll have to look back. We don't know.
We don't.
Let's move on. Misty takes the head in the hands and burns it in the casket, which was great. Yes. I always wonder what the regulations and the stipulations and kind of the overseeing of funeral homes and, places that they can burn bodies. There has to be some kind of watch on that because a mortician could just be selling the rights to be able to use the incinerator.
That too.
Or killing them himself or herself. Maybe, but yeah, you would just think with someone having an incinerator, there'd have to be a watchful eye on that thing. Because it would be too easy to dispose of a body.
Yeah. But she does it pretty easily, so.
Yeah, I don't know how she got it in there. We don't see that.
We don't.
It's kind of convenient. But I don't know. I mean, they put bodies on the bottom of coffins in The Sopranos. This is not completely something new. It's definitely a brilliant move. No one's going to be looking for a body on top of a body. But yeah, how she got it in there, it looked like it was a closed, like, one of those wood caskets that they nail shut. But maybe there was a showing of it. I don't know. Probably before locked it up before, after. It doesn't matter.
She's good at, kind of putting herself into situations that might be medical or, caregiving or anything. So I feel like she could have just, faked her way in easily enough.
I think we're both in agreement on this idea that Mary is the pit girl now.
Yeah, after looking at her more. And
we know Lottie's alive.
Lottie's alive.
Now. Okay, that's the big revelation. We called that at least. We knew one person was going to be revealed to still be alive. And it was, of course, going to be Jackie, Lottie, or Van.
And it was Lottie.
We had 1 and 3. Yep. And we got one of them.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean that the other ones aren't still alive. I would not be surprised to see Van. I would not be surprised to see...
Zombie Jackie.
That I'd be a little surprised. Shocked, but surprised.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't think we'll see Jackie again, but definitely Van and is a big possibility. And Javi, because he's missing in this episode. They do not find him.
Nope.
And he's been missing since the previous night when they were all tripping on mushrooms. So
I can't imagine Travis left his brother out
One of the things, if it had been a smaller animal, I almost was thinking that that's not really an animal, that's a human, and that they're seeing it as an animal for the bear. But I feel like if it was Javi, I don't think it would be a fully grown bear, just because he's a younger boy. I feel like it would be a different, another deer or something like that. And obviously none of them are on mushrooms at that point. But if we're, going to talk about witchcraft and it being supernatural, that's also kind of what I was thinking, is maybe it's an illusion and it's not really an animal. It's a person. But I don't know if that actually would hold up. But Javi's missing, and he was seen by Shauna before he went missing because he was hiding from everyone. Yeah. So I don't know what happened to him, but maybe he was just bye.
The coach is of sound mind still. He seems to be the only person who's retained a level head throughout. I don't know if that's because he's male or older or what. Since Travis lost his mind when he was on the mushrooms, for sure. He was kind of... he says to Natalie in this that he didn't want to. Now, that could just be a line, or he really just lost control. When he was in that state, he was being way different than he typically is. But Coach was on the same mushrooms, and he was caring, loving, forthcoming. He was really more just kind of himself amplified. So why it didn't affect him the same way it's affected Travis, I don't know. I feel like the coach is having as bad of a time as anybody. Dude lost his fucking leg. He's surrounded by nothing but chicks when he's gay. He's really, I couldn't have crashed with the boys soccer team.
Yeah. But he's, even if he is of sound mind still, he's definitely not the leader anymore. That is totally switched over to Lottie. And, in this episode, she tells him to stay out of the argument between Shauna and Jackie in front of everyone. So he's not in control anymore at all, and
No.
I do think he will be.
He knows it too.
At some point, dying.
This is why they had to take his leg.
Yeah.
Right? Because if he was this big, manly, physical presence there, he'd be in control of a lot more.
Sure.
But he knows he's that kind of hurt little doe now, and he's just kind of hanging back, being like, these girls could kill me at any moment.
Yeah, and he needs them to help take care of him at this point, So.
Yeah. So Misty kills Jessica. I mean, it's not confirmed for sure she's dead, but I don't see why she'd let her go, drug her cigarettes, and let her live. Mm-hmm. That just wouldn't make any sense. Now, the question, of course, is going to remain. We may never know. We probably will never know. Was Jessica on the level? Or was she going to turn Misty in? I'm inclined to believe she was on the level and Misty fucked up. But Misty is just too calculating to not take any risks.
Yeah.
Or to take risks.
Right.
Yeah, not to.
I think as much as she wanted to, I don't think she would have, let there be some kind of, possible error, right? Human error leaving her alive.
Well, she didn't want to get rid of the body either.
Right.
So
and
this
then
is
this
an
way
easier.
It's like she has a heart attack or, whatever while she's driving. So, but I don't know. I'm pretty torn on whether or not she was on the level because, like, on one hand, I kind of believed her. She was very convincing. But on the other hand, it's like she had you chained up for however long, and
But so there's a few factors to consider here. Number one, the story she tells Misty. Now, you'll say anything to get out of bondage, right? But regardless, she says she's a fixer and that she basically has a corrupt soul, and this is kind of her penance for this. She feels like she kind of deserves this, and she's very convincing. Now, whether or not that's how good of an actress the actress is, or how good of an actress the character is, I don't know.
Yeah.
Whatever it is, though, I bought that, but that doesn't mean she's not lying. That being said, so that's believable, but is it
the truth
accurate?
Right.
I don't know. So there's that to consider, but there's also the face that she makes when she turns her back to Misty and is walking away as she's about to leave. She kind of rolls her eyes at her like, oh my God, you don't actually buy this, or like, wow, you're a fucking idiot. Or is it she's just like I don't like Misty. Like, she's annoying as fuck. I can't wait to get out of here, but I'm still with her. Like, I'm definitely doing this because I want the money, and at the end of the day, all I give really shit about is monetary gain.
I
right?
took her
and fame.
expression for sure as like, I can't believe she's buying this, because she's telling her to think about who she wants to play her in the movie.
Well, but she might be rolling her eyes at the fact that she thinks Scarlett Johansson is going to play her when because, okay, Christina Ricci is beautiful, and I find Misty very attractive, but I know that in the show, she's not attractive to people. Like, that's what they're selling us on, is that the young Misty, who's also pretty, is not attractive. Mm-hmm. It's because of her craziness that mostly it is, but if just physically looking at her, she's an attractive girl. But I feel like the show sells us on that people don't find her attractive. So I feel like her saying, oh, I want Scarlett Johansson to play me, who's, kind of well known as one of the most beautiful women on earth. It's like, she'd roll her eyes like, oh my God, Scarlett Johansson, get the fuck out of here.
I get that.
I'm not saying that that's what it is, but I'm saying there's so many ways to take it.
Yeah, I agree. And I don't know if we'll find out what the, right
No, I don't think we'll ever get it.
I do think she's dead. It's possible that she's just drugged and passed out and Misty goes to kidnap her
what would be the point of that?
But I don't know what the point would be. So I think
stupid.
she's most likely dead.
Yeah.
Because it looks like it's the same... and stuff that she's injecting into the cigarette is what she was threatening to send in chocolates to her father, which would have killed him.
Yeah.
So I think she's dead.
100% she's dead to me. There's no way she's letting her go. Now, her intention was to kill her.
Yeah, so maybe...
Maybe she survives,
Sure.
but I do not think for any fucking second that she intended to just drug her and come pick her back up again.
Right.
What would be the point of that?
Yeah.
Or drug her and then let her sit on the side of the road for hours and then finally wake back up and be like, all right, I'm going to drive again.
Yeah.
She's got to be dead. She's got to be, the intention has to be her
She's either
death.
dead or she miraculously survives and
Yes.
it's like, now a hitch in Misty's plan.
So we got a little wrench in the gears right now of Shauna and everybody's disposal of Adam. We got a new problem which has arisen, which is the daughter recognizes him on television, of course, and immediately shuts down like, Mom, why is your lover dead?
Right. Why is he missing? Because that's what it is.
And kind of Shauna's non-reaction
says much.
A lot to her
Yes,
daughter.
Absolutely.
Like, did you kill this guy?
Yeah.
Like, it almost immediately plants it in her daughter's head, like, my mom had something to do with this.
Yeah. And I don't know how convincing Shauna's going to be towards her daughter because they already have this kind of rocky relationship.
I could see her fucking offering her up to these people.
Yeah, I mean, who knows, right? Like, I don't know if maybe she would even kill her, but I definitely see it being a huge problem, at least for the first couple episodes of the next season, if not the whole season, because I don't think her daughter's going to drop it so easily. I don't think she's going to be like, oh yeah, like I was willing to overlook that you were cheating on my dad, but now I'm also going to overlook that you murdered him. Like, I think that's going to be way too much for her.
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course. But will she find out? Will she? I do. I think her daughter's going to look into it.
Yeah. She's going to be curious.
How she'll look into it, I don't know. No. You know, maybe she'll find the torso and be like, well, torsos are useless. So
can't do anything with this.
Guess the fucking search is off.
You must be just looking for this.
Yeah. She buries it in a park. I don't know about that idea. Misty doesn't seem as good at it as she claims to be. All right, let's see. We've got... we already talked about all that. Jackie freezing to death was a shock.
Yeah.
I will say that. I wasn't expecting Jackie to die like that. Mm-hmm. I thought Pitt, maybe. We did get the snowfall, which leads into... Now, that could be the second winter at the beginning of the first season. So that shit could take place 2 fucking seasons from now, for all we know. So... I think we have our question answered here, though. Like, we had speculated and wondered, was the flashback stuff going to kind of end towards the end of the first season? Mm-hmm. Or at least were we going to catch up to Pit Girl? Mm-hmm. Not even close.
No, we're not there at all.
No, we're not there. Now, the snow is there. So, could we see... the beginning of the first episode of this show take place in the next season? Absolutely. Now, how likely that is, I don't know. I feel like, how far do we have to go? Like, they got pretty far into like all the girls buying into murdering Travis, tying him up, having this kind of orgy with him. So we're further along than we were just 2 episodes ago. That mushroom trip really kind of edged them in to this cult-like territory of murderous intent and whatnot. So it could definitely be this winter that happens. But it's very possible it's the next winter, because at that point, like, they're fucking gone.
Right.
Like, this is way. And if we're at that place where they're all cult people and they're murdering, like, or, well, somebody dies and they eat them, I just don't know what kind of character development and characterizations we're going to get once they're all, like, in that little faction of cult like stuff together.
Yeah. I think it's more likely that it'll be further down the line that we see that, because I think that, everything is motivated by their need for food and survival, and they just had a bear die, so they have a good amount of meat for a little bit. That won't last them the whole winter, but it'll get them, pretty far if they ration, I would think. I guess it depends though, because, winter can be multiple months, right? Not just 1 month. But I think it's going to kind of revolve around that cycle of having food and running out of food. And I think that their insanity and involvement with witchcraft, or, whatever it is that Lottie's leading them towards, is going to kind of peak with their hunger. So that they'll be driven to do those types of things and consider, what they need to eat when they're starving. Yeah. So, but I do think that you're right with character development. I think it's more likely that they'll, kind of postpone reaching that climax, unless there's other people in the woods that we haven't met yet, in which case I think that you could kind of go, you could have them reach that tribal point and introduce other characters, and then kind of focus more on the interactions of the group as a whole with the new characters involved.
Well, if you look at a show like Lost, when it was originally just the surviving plane crash members, you could only take the story so far.
Sure.
Then once they introduced the Dharma Initiative and all those characters that were in a different part of the island, and then you got the guy in the bunker, and then you could really start expanding things. So you're definitely right. That's something we had speculated many episodes ago, that there were other people out there, that there was this cult, that there's leaders, that there's all sorts of like a full cult out there that they're going to run into, that they're going to have interactions with, that so yeah, I mean, maybe they have animals trained and they sent them a bear as an offering
to get them involved. I mean, I don't know, that's kind of a silly idea.
It is silly,
but it was just more of like, well, what could it be? And like I said, I thought maybe it was a human and they weren't quite seeing it for what it was. But either way, it's very unusual for a bear.
It's
very impossible for a bear right before winter to approach a bunch.
He's like, you know what? I don't want to hibernate. Fuck it. I didn't eat enough. I'm not ready for winter. It's gonna snow tonight. Just
kill me.
Take it. Take it. You guys can have me for winter. Yeah. That's not how bears. It's not how bears
It's not
operate.
how they function.
All right, so we got Natalie, who is done. She's out. Or Natalie. I said Natalie.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, Natalie is taking the chicken shit way out.
Yeah.
Punching her ticket. Loaded weapon.
Yep.
You remember?
Kind of.
This line from Loaded Weapon?
Delete.
She's taking the chicken shit way out. Punched her one-way ticket. Anyway.
Yes.
Love that movie. Yeah, she wants to kill herself. She's just about to. I definitely think she was going to.
Yeah.
But the cult that is bearing the symbol that is in the woods that we've seen multiple times, that's on the postcard, she gets abducted by a guy who we've never seen before,
right,
and 3 women who are hard to see, but from what I could tell, I went back and rewatched the scene. They are all younger-ish, not like kids, but 20s maybe. So they're not old enough to have been part of anything in the 90s. What's odd to me is that this is class of 96 in this, and that they say that a lot of the girls on the team are like in different like age ranges, right? There's like a freshman in there, there's like a junior in there, and this and that.
Yeah.
They all 4, Misty, Ty, Shauna, and Natalie, were all seniors.
Yeah.
So only the seniors survived, and all the younger ones died. But yeah, so yeah, I don't feel like the people who came and abducted her, outside of the guy, would have been out there at that time with them, from what I could see at their ages, the girls. But yeah, maybe that's inaccurate.
I don't know. Yeah, because I would need to get a better look at them, I feel.
Maybe really one of them is Shauna's kid.
Maybe even the guy is Shauna's kid.
He's too young. I guess. Or too old.
Maybe he's a little too old, yeah.
He'd be 25.
He looks like he could be like 25.
You think so?
Yeah.
I'd have to look at him again.
For sure. So that could be a possibility, which would be really wild that her, child stays behind.
I definitely think Shauna's kid survived.
Yeah,
at this point.
I don't know. I'm still. I could see them killing it. I could see her having a miscarriage. I could see a lot of things happening with it. So,
Sure.
But I think there would be a lot of drama for a surviving child. Of
Absolutely.
course, that's involved
That's
in
why
some
I
kind
think
of
it's
whole
alive.
ritual.
Boy or girl.
Yeah, and I mean, obviously, him being a male is interesting because it seems like the witchcraft has been primarily focused around women.
Absolutely.
And the women are the ones that are affected by it. So it's interesting to see him. And I have a lot
Travis
of
was
questions.
affected by it.
He was, but Natalie says earlier on, like, he didn't believe in any of that shit. Like, he didn't actually. So he's not really, he's affected by it, but
He's not
obviously
into
taking mushrooms, yeah, like, I don't think he really wants to participate. Like he said, he didn't want to, right? So, at any rate, I'm very curious about all the people that came in to grab Natalie. And you even said, too, she had her finger, like, hovering, like, touching the trigger, and then the door bursts open.
Yeah, it's almost like they're watching her.
And, yeah, I definitely think that she would have shot herself accidentally. Because I feel like your reflexes, like, to a loud noise like that, yeah, you would have just jumped and, like, pulled it. But it's pretty freaky that they take her out, and I don't know. I want the next
I feel like she
season
would have
to
shot
be
herself or shot them.
She didn't
At
even
least
have
one of
time to
them.
react to them, though. They were already in and grabbing her before she could, like,
I just
turn
feel
the
like
gun.
she would either, like, shot or she would have immediately been like, what the fuck? Because she has a full, like, second or two to turn the gun on the door.
I don't know. I don't think she has, like, hardly any time.
She was a second.
Yeah, but I don't think
second.
that she would. Yeah, it's a second.
I get it. She's
a
not
second.
going to do it.
She's
I get it. It's
totally caught off guard.
It's not a problem at all. I was just saying she could have.
She could have.
So then, okay. So she gets abducted. While she's getting abducted, Susie, her old sponsor, gives her a call. Is like, fucking call me back. I looked into this stuff for you. Who the hell is Lottie? Mm-hmm. So Lottie is, I can only imagine, confirmed to be alive. Mm-hmm. I don't see why they would say that if she's not alive, unless like somebody's using her name.
No, she's
but
alive.
She's got to be alive.
She's
right?
the one that took the money out of Travis's bank account.
So she's the one performing the ritual with this other cult, but for what reason, I don't know yet. Mm-hmm. I'm trying to think of anything that happened outside of like Adam's death. Like they put a curse on her so that she would kill Adam, but I don't see why they would do that. It's like the only thing there's nothing really that happens that it's like, why would that happen unless it was fated to be by some witchcraft. Bringing them all together again,
getting them in contact with each other, even though they've sort of been on and off contacting. I think that there's probably going to be a larger plot that's going to be revealed for what that ritual was, supposed to make happen.
So then, at the very end here, we get Lottie. She's performing some kind of a ritual with the bear heart in a tree stump, a hollowed out tree stump, to which she says, with Van and Misty in tow, she says in French, "Shed blood, my beautiful friends." And then in English, "And let the darkness set us free." Mm-hmm. Shed blood and let the darkness set us free. So, kill for freedom. Like, kill to get what you want.
Yeah.
Right? Rituals.
Which so far, that's, Thaisa killing the dog to get elected.
Yeah.
Shauna killing Adam. Everyone is getting kind of what they want when they killed somebody. What Misty will get out of killing Jessica, we'll see.
Yeah.
But, yeah. What'd you think of the episode overall?
I think the fight between Jackie and Shauna was really heavy.
Yes.
And sad, and I feel like it's weird. Jackie sucks. Like, she is kind of useless. She's very entitled. She definitely gets into way more shit than she should. Mm-hmm. She's making enemies with everybody. When you're in the middle of nowhere, people are like scared. They are killing to survive. That's not the time to piss people off. That's not the time to make enemies. So in one way, I'm totally like, you're an idiot. But at the same time, like, you know, she did witness all these girls going crazy, trying to murder somebody. I would definitely be the one being like, yo, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Two, as Natalie is also kind of doing, like, but she's more focused on Travis and their relationship, and we kind of see their real love bond and why she's so upset about his death and all of that. So that all makes sense. But kind of the back and forth with Shauna and her, it was kind of just like, you know, body shots.
Oh, yeah.
Fucking uppercuts. Like, they were really, really landing some pretty devastating blows on each other there.
It was very intense. I almost thought that Shauna was going to kill Jackie or, like, attack her physically, too, because it got so heated.
But this fight leads to her going outside and dying of exposure to the elements. And this is, in Shauna's mind, her fault, which is probably why she's so numb to everything, to Adam's death, to everything. She just went through too much. So I guess that lightened my opinion on her a bit. She's still an awful person, but maybe more understandable now that you're really starting to see, like, how much guilt she has, how much she thinks she's an awful person.
Oh, she definitely does.
So I guess it all makes sense. The episode, I mean, we had such a good time watching it this season. I think we need to just remember that this is planned, right? Mm-hmm. Like, they have 5 seasons mapped out, they've said. So if that's the case, this ended where it's supposed to end for an overarching storyline that's already kind of mapped out, right? Like, a lot of shows they'll kind of give an ending but leave it a little open-ended so that we can get another season, get renewed, and go back to the writing, board. By that point, go to the writer's room, talk to everybody, and be like, all right, what are we doing here? But this show, I feel like it has a plan, right? And then they've said it has a plan. So I'm glad that they kind of stuck to their guns, left this way open-ended. I don't feel like we get anything that's definitive here. A lot of questions. And I trust, from what we got of this first season, which I was really into, I trust what the writers have done and have planned. So if there's not some big satisfying conclusion that's like, making everyone so like, oh wow, that felt like closure. We're not anywhere near that.
No, we're not at a point where we're getting closure.
So I'm happy with what we got. It's the breadcrumbs that we need for the mystery to continue to unravel, and we've got a year to think about it and ponder it, and then the next chapter of this, the next season, will draw us even closer to that conclusion. And it's not going to be, we're not going to get that revelation, that big thing, if they really have it planned out that way, until season 5, right? So. It's good. I'm happy. What more am I going to want? Am I going to want everything? I'm going to want all the answers now? Of course not. If they have 5 seasons,
then 5 seasons.
Then fucking, we're going to get what we get.
Yeah.
So I have no complaints.
Yeah, no, I didn't have any complaints either. I think it ended on a really organic, note, and that there was enough of a climax and, things revealed in this episode that I was pretty satisfied. I didn't feel like you said, there's tons of questions, but it just enhances, the mystery and wanting to figure out what's going on. So I thought it was great. The whole season is fantastic. It's definitely a show that I'm sad is, over for now, and I'm looking forward to the next season.
It's already been renewed.
Yes, and that's wonderful.
So that's good.
Yeah.
Good news there. But other than that, I guess until next year, we will figure out. We're going to be reviewing Archive 81, the new Netflix horror show that dropped on Friday, yesterday. So look for that in the next 2 days, maybe 2-3 days. And then, yeah, if you got a show that you know that's up and coming, that's in the horror genre, that we can watch week to week or not, let us know. I know we got some on the horizon here that we're looking at, but nothing super close except for All of Us Are Dead, the South Korean zombie show. That looks great, but that's all going to drop at once. So there's no, and
Week
same
to
with
week.
Archive.
Yeah.
We don't have a week to week show.
No.
So if there's any week to week horror shows coming up that are new, Walking Dead obviously is going to be starting here pretty soon, but that's not a show we cover. You're not current. I am.
No.
So that would be too hard. But if you know of any, let us know. Other than that, guys, it's been fun. See you next year with more Yellowjackets.
Yeah.
All right. Adios.
Bye.